These are the newly released Edifier WH950NB ANC headphones that have quickly become one of my favorite pairs of all-around cans, and these are the Soundcore Space Q45s, which I previously used at least 3 to 4 times per week because feature and spec-wise, these things were pretty much unbeatable for the price. Now that I've had them both for a while, I have to say that it is definitely a tough choice to choose in between them because not everybody has the luxury of owning both. Also, both pairs have areas where they excel and areas where they could use improvement, which I'll touch on later on in this video. But by the end, I'm confident that you'll know which pair you should go for in terms of the build quality, call quality, sound quality, app experience, ANC performance, transparency performance, and of course, the battery life. Starting off with their respective designs, both pairs are extremely comfortable on my head, and they also do provide sufficient padding on both the top headband and the ear cups for longer listening sessions of 5 to 6 hours. I will say that the ear cups on the Edifiers are noticeably softer and hug the sides of my head a lot better than what I get with the Space Q45s, which are stiffer overall. But I don't want to give you guys the impression that they are overly stiff because that is not the case. They're just not as soft and plush as what you'll get with the WH950s. Besides that, the looks are pretty much a toss-up and they're gonna come down to personal preference. I personally like the more understated look of the Edifiers, but I don't think that the Q45s are bad looking whatsoever. Battery life wise, the Q45s will give you a max use of up to 65 hours without ANC and about 50 with it on, which is great. The 950s on the other hand don't provide as much juice, with about 55 hours of use without ANC and about 34 with it on, which is still more than most people need on a single charge, but it is worth noting that both pairs do support quick charging, with the Q45s giving you about 5 hours of use from only 4 minutes worth of charging, and the 950s giving you up to 7 hours from only 10 minutes worth of charging. So here both pairs are great in terms of the battery life, and they both perform much better than my much more expensive Sony WH1000XM5s, which provide a max use of right around 30 hours on a charge. For the build quality, I've had the Q45s longer, so I've used them a lot more than the 950s, but to be completely honest, these things still look relatively new, and I haven't had any concerns with how they're holding up. I never hear any creaks or anything of that nature, so in general, I think they're well built. Now, I can't speak to the longevity of the 950s just yet, but I do own other pairs of Edifier headphones, and the build quality has never been an issue. Speaking on the companion apps, I prefer the Soundcore experience more as it feels more polished than what you get with Edifier Connect. But they both allow you to see the charge left on the headphones, access pre-built EQs and create your own, customize your controls, activate safe volume listening mode, update the firmware when applicable, and access your transparency and ANC mode options. However, the Q45s feature multi-mode ANC and transparency, which allows you to customize the strength of both modes. With the 950s on the other hand, all that you can really do is select from ANC with no customization, wind noise reduction with no customization, and transparency, which you can adjust the strength on. Connection with both pairs has been fine for me so far, as they are using Bluetooth 5.3 and they are also compatible with LDAC for you Android users. But if you're a hardcore mobile gamer and you need a near instant response for that competitive edge, you probably want to go for the Edifiers, as they do have a built-in low latency gaming mode. Outside of that, I've been able to use both pairs just fine for watching YouTube videos and Amazon Prime movies through both of those apps on both my iPhone 14 Pro and my Galaxy Z Fold 4. The call quality is gonna go to the Edifiers in my opinion. I think that they do a better job of sounding natural and focusing on your speech while rejecting noise. But as always, I did take samples for you guys so that you can judge for yourselves. I'll insert them here so you have them easily accessible. Alright guys, so right now I have the headphones paired to my iPhone 14 Pro. As you can see, the audio that you're hearing is coming directly from the microphones on them, and I'm not going to do any type of editing to this sample, so this should give you a pretty good idea of how these will perform in a relatively quiet room. And now I have some simulated background noise playing in the background This part of the test is aimed at seeing how well the mics on these will focus on my speech while rejecting some of that noise. Alright guys, so right now I have the Space Q45s paired to my iPhone 14 Pro. As you can see, the audio that you're hearing currently is coming directly from the microphones on them. Now I'm not going to do any type of editing to this sample, so this should give you a pretty good idea of how they'll perform in a relatively quiet room. And now I have some simulated background noise playing in the background. Everything else about this test is exactly the same, still paired to my iPhone 14 Pro. So this should give you a pretty good idea of how these will focus on your speech while rejecting some of your ambient noise. Now moving on to the sound quality, guys, this is always very subjective, but I do try to do my best in these reviews to stay as impartial as I can because like I said, I like both pairs and they both do perform well, but there is a noticeable difference in the detail and clarity between them to my ears. You also must keep in mind that your results may vary based on how you EQ these, but to my ears, the 950s provide a warmer, more detailed, and more refined sound than what I get with the Space Q45s. However, I have to say that the low end in bass up mode with the Q45s provides a tighter bass response and complements the other frequencies without overpowering them. The Space Q45s also do get a bit louder than what you'll get with the 950s in terms of output, so if you're concerned about how loud the two get, none of them have that extra loud level that I'm used to, but the Q45s do get louder. So taking everything into consideration, fam, both pairs are extremely solid and there's a reason why most people ask which pair they should go for. If I could only pick one pair right now, it would be the Q45s just for the simple fact that they're $30 cheaper and they provide both better ANC and transparency performance in my opinion. As firmware updates have come out for them, I believe they have also become more responsive to the strength adjustments in both modes, and I really do think that this is a huge plus for them in general because you don't always want to be fully transparent or have the heaviest ANC on. Sometimes I find myself in an environment where I do want to still hear some of what's going on around me, but at the same time, I don't want to hear everything. The Q45s give me the flexibility in increasing or decreasing how much I hear, but besides that, you really can't go wrong with either pair in terms of their ANC and transparency performance. They both really do perform well to my ears. If you make a lot of voice calls or you're a hardcore mobile gamer, then the 950s are probably a better choice for you, but outside of that, I think that they're pretty evenly matched. Before you get on out of here, if you rock with the channel and your boy Tech Mo, hit that subscribe button and knock that notification bell out so you won't miss any of my uploads. Welcome to TM Nation. Peace.